Hello everybody and welcome to another Minecraft video. Today we're going to be looking at how to make paths and roads in your world. This is something that I think is really important if you're making a city or just making any kind of landscape in Minecraft. Having a really nice road and path can be all the detail you need to really bring out an area. So we're going to look in depth at what you should do and also what you shouldn't do to help you guys improve your paths and roads. Let's hop right into it. So to start, we have the most basic of roads that you can possibly make. A straight path of a material. You could do this with stone, you could do this with dirt, you could do this with wood. Is this the best road in the world? No, but it is a road that you could do. So from here, let's improve this ever so slightly. So now we're adding a little bit of extra texture into the build. I always talk about texture and depth when making Minecraft building tutorials, and paths are really one of those that you have to look at the texture with. Depth also, but more so texture. So by adding in just some simple cracked stone brick and mossy stone brick, this path now is a little bit more alive. Let's do something to make it even more alive. Okay, here we go. This is completely different. Does it look similar? Yes. But we're adding in cobblestone, andesite, and normal stone in order to break up the consistent stone brick texture. If you were looking to do something in a forest or something, or in a old city, this could be a better design. There's also one variation off of this that utilizes stone brick stairs. This is allowing to create a little bit of extra depth while walking. So when you're walking on the road, there's like some little blocks missing. Maybe this place is a little bit more torn down. Whatever you're going for, there are different roads you can do to work with that. So this next one is more for a, formal city. Once again, very smooth, one block texture like our original, but by utilizing depth, you're creating a more unique entranceway into your walkway. This is using stone brick slabs along with the stairs to just create that little bit of extra depth. It has a very clean look and it works here. These next paths are some of my favorite to make. These are just kind of sporadic blocks placed in with your dirt or sand or whatever material is on the ground. You can do this with sand as well, but I would recommend using wood if you're going to have sand. So what do? You basically knock out random blocks and then place stone brick into them. So let's real quick, we'll make one very simply. I like to just go in, we'll do a path like this, and then I just go in, I place random stone brick wherever I feel like it, and then we grab back our source material, put it in, and here you go, a very simple path. Does it look incredible? No, but it in some cases will work better if you're in a wilderness area than having a straight up blocky path like that. So what are some variations we can work off from this? We have adding in some extra materials, very similar to how we did over there. Adding in some extra stone, some cobblestone, some andesite helps to make this look more like it's a planned placement of the blocks than just this person came in and randomly started placing stone brick everywhere. So then one step from here, we now are adding in the depth into it. This is what I like right here. We're now utilizing some slabs along with our stone brick to give a little bit of... The stone brick is a very repetitive depth texture. Now you're adding in the slab to create an even more increased depth in the path. So then finally we have this one, which utilizes some fencing on the side. And I just did some basic wood fences with some leaves, and then I bone mealed some of the ground to make this look like you're walking in a path in a forest area. Always add in some kind of fence on the side, whether it's just some simple fences or, as you're going to see in our next one, some stone walls. You can do this kind of stuff here. If you wanted to add a little bit of detail, buttons can look like rocks on the ground. So you can put these in certain areas, and now you're looking like you have some stones along your path. Just adds a little bit of extra detail into your path. So then finally we have this one, which is utilizing some different textures, going away from stone, using our stone as our fencing, and using wood, the new path blocks from 1.9, and then the coarse dirt as our materials here. You can play around with different materials. If you're going to do a sand-based build, we'll make one real quick. I like to use spruce with sand, so we can go in, create a little bit of a path here, put in our randomized sand, throw in some spruce blocks, spruce slabs, maybe another stair there, another stair there in this direction, and then just put in some spruce, and you can kind of see how this works together too. Obviously this one was very thrown together and it's a little bit small and looks off because of the grass around it, but in a desert this could look really, really nice. So now that we have some basic paths under our way, let's look at different paths that you may have to run into making in a world. Likely you're not going to be in a flat land unless you're working on a creative server or something like that, so it's always important to work in the environment with your path. Don't flatten your land, work with it. So very simply, to go uphill or downhill, just put in some slabs of any material. I like to use wood, and then you can create a nice, easy ascend up your hill. I have the paths on the side, the fences with the leaves like we did before, and then I just put in some coarse dirt to make it seem like you're traveling for a while on this path. Maybe the coarse dirt is showing that people have been walking here for a long time. Another thing that you can then do, if you wanted to get even more fancy, grab your wooden shovel, put in some of the new path blocks in here as well, and it's just going to add a little bit of extra texture to the place. I also like the path blocks because they do create a little bit of depth to the build as well, because you have it, subtracting the tiniest bit from the grass to create a little bit of extra depth. It also has a little bit of extra color. I like it a lot. That's kind of how you can build uphill. So now we're going into more city type paths. And a lot of people maybe, when you think Minecraft, you think, oh, let's build a giant city. Let's make it modern, have skyscrapers. These are the kind of paths that you could have in here. So this is very simple, like a sidewalk with a road. Got a little lamp going on over there. So the sidewalk, you can just do simply stone slabs for sidewalks, have a little bit of leaves on the side as bushes, and then a very basic black stained clay road. There are some blocks that you could choose to do instead of this. Some people are a fan of using block of coal. In my opinion, it has a little bit too much texture to it for me to want to use it. But things like, per se, I don't know, regular stone in a road is pretty okay as well. If you have access to the stone slab blocks that look like that, and you can spawn them in, those are okay as well, but then you'd want to go with a different material on your sidewalk. It's all personal preference. I like the black hardened clay, even if it has a little bit of a brown texture to it. So then over here, I just decided to do a basic curve. When making curves, it's important that you keep a very similar ratio from your straight into your curve. You don't want it to look too awkward when going around. So I just did a very basic, surround it with some stone slabs, have some trees in the middle for decoration, and then you can have all kinds of, walkways going on here with then some buildings behind it, and it would look very nice in a city. So that's kind of how you would do that. When people make roads, they want to add in a lot of patterns. And this is something that I want to kind of shy you away from. Having an organized pattern in a road can lead to a lot of repetition and just it won't look good. So here's a very basic pattern. I'm utilizing some depth by adding in the stone brick on the sides, but then I am adding in the sea lanterns as light in the path. Just doing every, 5 blocks, put in a sea lantern. This is a pattern that you could continue on forever, and this is still going to look pretty nice. We have the leaves on the side just as a little bit of a border. This is going to work. But there are some patterns that aren't going to work, and let's take a quick look at those. So this right here is one that I see a lot when I'm on servers. It's very basic. You just have your logs and then your wood in the middle. This can work in certain circumstances. If you're making a bridge, this will look fine. If you're doing just a small portion of a road with this, it'll also look pretty okay, but it will not work if you continue this on for a long time. So I decided to take this and kind of expand upon it to create a more interesting version of this path. So here we go. You're utilizing your wood planks like we have, just sticking with one texture, but we're adding in the stairs and the slabs to create a little bit of extra depth. Then using your logs on the side with some leaves and some fences, you're keeping the similar color scheme that you got going, but you're just making it look a little bit nicer. This is something that I would recommend doing if you're one that likes making that kind of path. Another thing that I would warn against, don't use bright colors in your paths. This, while it has a nice pattern and nice design, is not going to look good in a city setting or in any setting in the game, besides if you're in an ocean temple itself. And then finally, don't use diamond blocks or gold blocks in paths. You shouldn't really be using them in building at all unless it's sparingly to show off wealth or something, but this is something I see all the time on creative servers, and it's painful to look at. The checkerboard pattern is not good unless you're going for like a 1920s bathroom and you're doing black and white. And just using that many diamond blocks, you're either trying to show off your wealth on the server, or you're just, I don't know what you're doing. So don't do that. But anyway, this has been a bunch of tips and tricks for making paths and roads in the game. I hope this helped out a little bit. Paths and roads can really make a area a lot more alive and a lot more detailed by very simply adding basic little bits of depth and some texture changes in an area. So with that, leave a comment down below with what you want to see made in these videos. I've been liking doing these kind of like in-depth looks at certain things, color combinations, paths, roads. I'll be making one for a garden sometime soon, because that was a comment that was left on a previous video. And then I'm also going to be looking to make one with things you can do with barrier blocks, because I'm real interested in barrier blocks. So with that, I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.